Hey everyone, this is my rant on the Amazing Spider-Man movies, both of them. In the next video, I'll do my rant on the Sinister Six and Venom spin-off films, but right now, the Amazing Spider-Man films. Man, I hate both of these films. I think the first film was absolutely garbage. I think the second film was better than the first and was enjoyable, but still garbage. All in all, these were crappy reboots. They were way worse than Sam Raimi's Spider-Mans, and I'm just pissed at Sony for making these movies, which I'm about to explain. Of course, I'm going to start off with The Amazing Spider-Man. The Amazing Spider-Man. I was initially excited for the reboot. Because I didn't think Spider-Man 4. While I didn't think a Spider-Man 4 would be good, in my opinion. It kind of went all out in Spider-Man 3, and I also didn't like the killing off Venom in Spider-Man 3. And so, yeah, a reboot is good. A Spider-Man movie more closer to the source material of Spider-Man would be good. And when I saw in 2010, when I saw the leaked shot of Andrew Garfield as Peter Parker and Spider-Man in the suit, I was like, oh, cool. Then of course I see the trailers and I see this Batman Begins, Twilight, Ultimate Spider-Man garbage. Yes, they take stuff from the Ultimate comic despite the fact this was called The Amazing Spider-Man. That's the first problem I have with it. False advertising, taking elements and things from the Ultimate comic books when you call it Amazing Spider-Man. The Amazing Spider-Man was kind of muscular. He was muscular. He was even more muscular in the 90s cartoon. In the that skinny design that they keep redrawing Spider-Man as that I never liked, that's in the Ultimate Spider-Man comics. So that's the first problem I have, was false advertising. Then of course I can tell from the trailers that they of course were just then of course before I get to the source material again, I thought the storyline was terrible. Lizard, I love the Lizard effect. I thought the Lizard effect was cool, but I thought the Lizard was a lame. I thought Kurt Connors was a lame bad guy. Bad guy. He seemed to be a cliched mad scientist from what I saw. I did like the Lizard effect and the fight scenes though. That's another thing. I thought the fight sequences and the action sequences were good, but the talking scenes. The talking scenes and the chemistry between the actors, in my opinion, was terrible. The only people who were good were Emma Stone, and the guy with Emma Stone is Gwen Stacy, and the guy portraying her father were the only people, in my opinion, who were actually good. Thought all the other actors, I thought the chemistry between the actors was terrible, and I thought the film went on way too long. It's a long time before Spider-Man actually appears. And I just thought the film was also, despite it being more serious, I thought the film was even cheesier and more goofier than the same Raimi series. Then of course, I thought Andrew Garfield was an unlikable lead as Peter Parker and Spider-Man. I guess I didn't like his jokes as Spider-Man either. He came off as a show-off, a douche and a doofus. And I didn't like him as Peter either. He was, like the people say, he was a hipster and a cocky show-off. He was nothing like Peter Parker. Peter Parker is supposed to be a nerd, a pushover. Like Promised Land, I think that's what they're called, the Promised Land YouTube user said. If Peter Parker didn't have Spider-Man powers, he would be some computer tech guy or be an accountant. He is not someone he was a hipster. The dumb scene with the basketball, the dumb scene with the robber in the car. How did Spider-Man get in the guy's car? I told you, and it was just cheesy. It was just cheesy and over the top. It was also pretentious. I do not like it when things are preachy, man. Every time it's always offensive and a load of crap. If they would have been a campy action flick with a good story centered around these characters, they would have been a good film. It would have been a film. I thought The Amazing Spider-Man 2012 was absolutely was absolutely terrible. Then of course there are plot holes, and finally they don't follow the comics. The Amazing Spider-Man 2, of course. Well, after seeing how bad The Amazing Spider-Man was, of course I really was initially looking forward to Amazing. I really initially wasn't looking forward to Amazing Spider-Man 2. That was until they announced the bad guys that would be in the film. That was Rhino, and Jamie Foxx as that redesigned Electro. That was worth the price of admission. Then, of course, later they announced that Harry Osborn, the Green Goblin, would be in there. Would be in there. I wanted to see that cool, and I saw the leak shot on Stormzy's video of the Green Goblin, the film. It made me really want to see it. When I saw this film, as I predicted, this film sucked. In no way was this gonna be good. Was this gonna be good? But this was even worse. This was even worse than I thought it was gonna be. It was enjoyable, but it was absolutely terrible. Yeah, the enjoyable. I'm gonna get to the good. The enjoyable, of course, was Electro. I thought all his scenes were cool, even though I thought his development, like people say, was rushed. And I thought his character was ruined, but I enjoyed all of Jamie Foxx's Electro scenes and loved the new redesign of Electro, the voice, the dubstep music, everything. Harry Osborn, I thought Harry Osborn sucked in his movie, but I did like it when he became the Green Goblin. I did like the part where he became the Green Goblin. That's what I came here for. The new cool redesign of the Green Goblin. And Rhino. This pissed me off. Rhino, he was barely even in the film. First off, he was barely even in the film. Then, once again, when I heard of Rhino, one of my all-time favorite bad guys from Spider-Man, was going to be in the film, I expected to see a man in the Rhino suit, what he is in the Amazing Spider-Man comic books. Instead, they have him in this robotic mecha suit, robotic mecha suit. That crap pissed me off, and then I read that that's in Ultimate. Once again, taking stuff from the Ultimate Spider-Man comics, even though you're called the Amazing Spider-Man. Then Rhino, he was barely in the film. He was in the beginning and the end. Rhino and Electro, who I came from. I didn't even know Goblin was going to be in this movie until I watched Storm6's video. And which brings to my next point. The Amazing Spider-Man 2. Like Tribal Review says, they don't, The Amazing Spider-Man 2 doesn't exist to tell a good story or tell an interesting narrative on the Spider-Man character. Or what's his name? They're there to sell toys and to set up more films like this Avenger-esque Sinister Six rip-off garbage and a Venom spin-off, even though Spider-Man hasn't even encountered Venom in this universe yet. Eddie Brock Venom in this universe yet. So just garbage, man. Just garbage, and still not following the source material. Now, even though I did say that source material, as much as I like it, when it comes to movies, it is irrelevant. Like Helsing 920 and even Christopher Nolan has said, as much as I like source material for movies and stuff to follow their source material, it's how they stand on their own. It is, and I thought Harry Osborn, I hated how they didn't stick to the comics, because the Sam Raimi's tried to. This one didn't. This one went in a whole new direction with Harry dying of an illness and his father, Norman Osborn, on his deathbed. What is this? What is this? This is not in the source material. This is supposed to be closer to the source material. This is not in the source material. Then, of course, who else is in this film? So, yeah, terrible. And Andrew Garfield, of course, is still an unlikable lead as Peter Parker. He pretty much created both of the villains, and he pretty much got Gwen Stacy killed, and Gwen Stacy got her own self killed. Yeah, she died the same way she died in the comic, but it was very different in the comic books. In the comic books, Norman Osborn, I think it was Norman, yes, Norman Osborn remembers he is the Green Goblin. Norman Osborn regains his memory that he is the Green Goblin, discovers Peter Parker's identity, goes to Peter Parker's house looking for him. Instead, he finds Gwen Stacy there. Gwen Stacy there, he kidnaps her, and after a struggle, Gwen Stacy ends up falling to her death just like she did in the films. Here, Gwen Stacy causes her own death by coming to the battlefield despite the fact that Spider-Man told her to stay. Then, Spider-Man, by coming back, Spider-Man not learning from what the guy said in the first film, Spider-Man coming back, getting together with Gwen Stacy in this film, not learning a lesson from the previous films, man. Then this crappy subplot about his parents that nobody cares about. Nobody cares about. Like I said, these films were garbage. If anyone likes these films, good. But don't be going around saying they're the best ever. Don't be going around saying they're underrated, they're underappreciated. No, they suck. There's a reason they got a 54, 53% on the Rotten Tomato meter. They suck. Sony just made all this stuff just so they wouldn't lose the rights. The rights need to revert back to Marvel so they can make Spider-Man good again. Because this was garbage. This was some garbage. Teenage, emo, pretentious, cheesy flick. That's what these Amazing Spider-Man 2 films were. They were way worse than the Sam Raimi's films. Everything that was bad about Sam Raimi is even worse here. And these movies reboots are supposed to correct what was wrong with the previous trilogies. These make the same mistakes as what's his name, and then they're just using fan baity stuff to get fans to watch this movie. I don't even care about Sinister Six. I remember them in one episode of Spider-Man animated series that was awesome, but that was it. Individually, I like some of those guys, but as a team, really could care less. Really could care less about the Sinister Six movie, and I don't even care about the Amazing Spider-Man 3. If Jamie Foxx is somehow back in the franchise, I'll watch. But I don't even care about the Amazing Spider-Man 3, or their Sinister Six spinoff, or their Venom movie, or the fourth one after that. This movie series, The Amazing Spider-Man, is terrible. Marc Web, the guys who wrote the script, they fucked up Spider-Man. Sony fucked up on Spider-Man, man. The real Spider-Man for me will always be Spider-Man and His Amazing Friends. Spider-Man, the 1990 animated series and its sequel, Unlimited. And yeah, the same Raimi films were better than this. I'll be doing a video on that later. Alright, dug out.